Hi guys, and welcome to Chengi's World. Guys, I have been thinking and meditating about this video, and I just really want to give it to you straight. If you're new to this channel, welcome to Chengi's World. It is on and popping. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, comment, leave, share. Let me meet you. Let me get to know you. Contact me on my Instagram, Facebook. I'm available. I want to hear from you. And whilst this channel is growing, I've got time to get back to you guys, and I try to get back to you as soon as I can. But welcome to my world. Hello. It's gonna get even more exciting, guys. I promise. But in the meantime, today, for those of you who are part of my world, who come back every time, you know I love you. You know I do. You know I do. Okay, so welcome back. Today, I wanted to talk about something that has really been on my heart and mind as I've sort of sat back and observed life and just enjoyed just observing. The gift called singleness. I have been single now. When I got married at the age of 19, I had never been single. I'd only ever been my mom's daughter, my parents' child, and then became my ex-husband's wife. So I'd never experienced singleness. I'd never experienced dating. I'd never experienced the whole sort of process that people go through in order to find their spouse. And some would have thought, you're so very lucky, it's wonderful. And to be fair, now that I've been single for about 7 years, I think to myself, girl, maybe you were lucky. But I am so privileged that God found me worthy to go through this particular process in my life so that I can make videos for girls and people who are just so fantastic like you guys, and really be empathetic, because I always had the wisdom and the grace and the wisdom from God to always speak into single women's lives and into relationships in general. But when you've also lived through it, it gives you that extra edge and gives you authority to be able to speak in that realm and in that dimension. So one of the things I discovered is that being single in the church is particularly hardest. And I really want to hear from you guys who are not Christian, those of you who are from other religions. I really want to hear what the experience is like for you in your religious community. But certainly when I got divorced, I just instantly sort of lost my relationship with the church, because the church represented rejection to me at that time. It represented, divorced women and all the dynamics and understandings of scripture and what I'd represented to so many people within the context of the church. I felt like I'd let them down. So I did what most people do, is I ran away. And I ran into the world. I ran into secular society. And what I found in there was absolute and complete acceptance. There was no judgment there. There was no, why don't you? There was just this beautiful acceptance. And I think that's something that a lot of Christian people don't understand about the secular world, that there's so much, sometimes more love out there than in the religious, spiritual world that we call church, that is supposed to have a lot of love and acceptance. But as a single woman, as a single mom, what I found was a lot of compassion, understanding, a lot of solidarity. It was okay to be single. It was okay to be single and dating. It was okay to be exploring, to be making mistakes, to do all of these things. But when I eventually decided that I missed my relationship with God, and even though I was still very much in relationship with him, but I decided that I wanted the fellowship, and I wanted the spiritual covering, and I wanted to get some structure to my walk. And the church that I found at that time was very gracious, very loving, very non-judgmental, lovely, wonderful people. And there are loads of amazing churches out there that are very non-judgmental, that are loving, that are caring, that will just embrace you and not judge you and just love you as you are, and not try and make your life hard. But then I sort of migrated through many churches as I started to want more and need more. And I was just reflecting on how difficult it is to be a single person within a certain context of the church, because there is, of course, the burden of not having sex before marriage. You don't want to fornicate. You don't want to sleep around and still have a relationship with God and still feel worthy of the assembly of the people. So, but when you look and you're not allowed to, of course, the expectation is that you will find somebody who is of the same faith, and that you will not marry somebody who's outside of your faith or somebody who is a non-believer. So, and the only way that you can get laid is to get married. So here you are stuck in this horrible little box, where being single is a curse. You're literally in a cursed place because you're stuck in this little box, and in this box you cannot have a conversation, a romantic conversation with anybody outside of this box, and you cannot have sex with anyone within the box or outside the box until they make that commitment. So what you start to crave is marriage. Marriage becomes your super prayer. It's the prayer that you pray all the time. You get obsessed about praying for marriage. And of course, our church leaders don't want fornication and craziness going on in the pews. They want to keep a holy, pure church, and so they are promoting marriage. So before you know it, you have the marrieds who, they don't have to worry about that. And then you got the poor old single girls who just, who want to steal people's husbands. Yeah. If you're single and you look good and you care about how you look, then you're just after somebody's husband or boyfriend. And if people don't think that of you, then there's something wrong with you. Girl like you who looks that good, you got no man. There's some kind of spirit all after this. I mean, like, you are carrying some kind of crazy demon, whatever. And God forbid you're not desperate to get married, then there's something totally wrong with you, right? Okay, so the single status within the church is not something that is held in high esteem. It is not something that is honored as a valid, biblically valid lifestyle choice. In fact, a choice that the Apostle Paul says, I wish that all of you would choose it, that you would choose to be single, because that way your focus is only on God and you can experience the fulfillment. But sometimes it's as if you are not married, if you are not desperate to get married, and if you are not off in that category, then there's something kind of wrong with you. And the only other valid position for a girl like you, who looks like you, with a heart like yours, with talent like yours, is to therefore be married. Now, I just really wanted to use my platform and this platform to say to you girls, please don't believe it. Okay, don't believe it, because it will be a trap of the enemy of your soul. Because once you get into desperation, by this age you should have been married with kids, it doesn't work that way. God doesn't work that way. There is no biblical pattern that I can think of when I study the scriptures that tells me that anybody did anything in the time of man, from Abraham all the way to Revelation. No one who was written in the book, who is an example of our lifestyles, had anything happen to them in the time that was supposed to happen to them, or that had something good happen to them in good times. No, God is a God who is unique and deals with you specifically. Not to say that there aren't enemies of our soul or enemies of our progress. Of course there are. There are people and their spirits and their situations that work against the things that should have come to us by a certain age. Yes, by a certain age when you're still fertile and it's a good time. And then sometimes there are indeed spirits that bring delayed, spirits that fight and contend for our destiny. But I would like to believe that the Lord is my shepherd, that he leads me, and that he is ultimately in charge even of those evil things that are in place, and that everything that the enemy means for evil, he will turn around for the good. So I choose not to look at my singleness as some sort of cursed position or inferior position to a married woman. I don't need to wear a ring, walk down the aisle, say yes to any kind of guy in order to feel equal. There is no hierarchy. As far as God is concerned, there is no marriage. We're not going to be married in heaven. That institution is for this earth, for procreation and for the purposes of creating a stable family. But it is not essential to grade my humanity and my worth and my value. And what I want to say to you guys who are in the religious world, who are and I know sometimes you don't even have to be religious, that even your families and the pressure that you get from outside can make you feel like the leper at the table. I was watching Bridget Jones and she was talking about, and they're saying, why are there so many single girls now, Bridget? And she said, well, it might be because we've got scales underneath our clothes. And I thought that was really clever. But there is a pressure from outside of ourselves, the pressure outside of the single woman, the single person's world, that is saying you are not complete, you are not whole, you are not enough, you are not valuable valuable unless somebody says, will you marry me? And that is the cause of so many divorces and so much instability and so much unhappiness in marriage, is because that's not good enough. Marriage is about purpose, and it's about coming into destiny. Marriage is not that place where you get to have legitimate sex, okay? We just need to deal with the ideas. And I have been celibate now for almost 2 years, and I thought it would kill me. I really did. I thought, right, that's it. I'm gonna die if I never have sex again, or even if the thought that I may never have sex again used to kill me, right? But I've realized that yes, it is something that is wonderful, something that my body needs, my spirit needs that intimacy, but it's not something that defines me. Whether I am a sexual being or not, I'm not defined by that. And every single day I wake up alone. I might have one day in a month, if that, where I think, oh, today would have been nice if somebody was there to cuddle me. If I could just wake up in somebody's arms. And there are days when, yes, I would love somebody to cuddle me. But I've been married before, and I know that those days where you actually want somebody to cuddle you, when you are married, you just want, could you just leave me alone? Okay, you don't realize that the institution of marriage is not superior. It is a different kind of challenge. And I want you to know that when you truly master wholeness and completeness in God, and you find yourself and you realize that I came to the earth alone and I will die alone. I wasn't born holding a man's hand. I wasn't born with a ring on my finger. I was born exactly like this, ringless. I was born with this spirit and this soul, with a mission and a purpose to accomplish upon the face of the earth. And if I can find that purpose and walk in that purpose, then I'm complete. I am complete. I was made complete. God didn't leave a deficit in me. And that in fact, the person who is incomplete is the man. The man who hasn't found me is the one who is incomplete. He's the one with a missing rib. I'm all whole, all up in this piece, okay? But he's the one with a rib that is missing. He's the one who God said it's not good for him to be alone. He never said it's no good for a woman to be alone, because he knows we can do this. Okay, it's not good for him to be alone. So let that guy stress about finding me. Let him stress about that. Let him have sleepless nights. Let him feel like he's an incomplete man because he's not found his rib. But that's not my burden to bear. And I just want you guys, and I'm just really hoping and praying that this is gonna be true ministry to you guys, and that for a minute you can breathe in and exhale and accept the gift of singleness. Accept that you can go, be, do, fly, jump anywhere. That God can put a thing in your heart today and you can do it tomorrow, and we don't have to consult. We don't have to get it past the person who we are living our lives with. We don't have to be a part of that sifting process. We can fly, we can move quicker, we can do it faster. I can stay up all night and work, and there's nobody saying, honey, I've not seen you. I can wake up early. I can do what I want as a grown human being. Do you blame me for loving my freedom? I have been married before, and I have to be honest, for the first couple of years after being divorced, I didn't know how to be single. I was broken. I was lost. I didn't know how to be anything other than somebody's wife. But now that I have been single for so long, it is a trip. I love it. I love that I can check out that guy and check out that guy, not feel like I've committed a sin. That I'm absolutely within my rights to like you and think you're hot and think you're kind of cool, and God ain't gonna judge me, because I'm single, okay? I am single, and I just want you guys to just exhale, breathe out, jump a little. There's nothing wrong with you, girl. There is nothing wrong with you. You are whole, you are loved by God, and everything that is yours will find you in the fullness of time. I promise those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength, and they shall mount up on wings like eagles. They will soar, people. Your time will come. Don't rush it. Don't sit there feeling like a leper. Don't sit there feeling inferior to this woman. I promise you, that marriage is harder than being single. It is harder than being single. When you see them holding hands, playing about, doing we're so happy and so good, honey, I'm not saying that they're lying. I'm saying it costs them. It costs them. It's work. It's perpetual self-sacrifice. No selfishness in that realm. You can't think about yourself, what you fancy for dinner. It's constantly thinking about somebody else. And that's beautiful. But it's also burdensome when you can just think about you, God, and the things that make you happy. Right now, I'm just filming. Halfway during the day, I decided that I'm going to film. And I can. There's no one else to consider. No one. It's just me. Okay? And so enjoy it. Because when it goes, you're going to wish you had enjoyed it. And whilst you are waiting, don't let anyone tell you or make you feel that there's something wrong with you. So that's from me to you saying, I absolutely love you. Take care of you. You are precious. And everything in its own time. Love you lots. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Chengi's World. Chengi Pot. I'll see you soon. Love you lots. Mwah.